Welcome to Paranormal Youniverse. Hello, welcome to Paranormal Youniverse. I'm Chris.
And I'm Tina.
And this is episode 9. Niner. This is a niner. So, Tina, are you afraid of dolls?
Some of them. Yes, I've had some weird, creepy looking dolls I got when I was a kid, and I would put them like face down in the back of my closet behind the toy box. And then my mother would find them and she'd get rid of them.
Why would she get rid of them?
Because parents have to purge toys every so now and then I had a Swiss Miss doll. You know the chocolate hot chocolate brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why when I was a little girl I had a Swiss Miss doll. That's what it was called.
Never heard of it.
And I'll have to look it up online. I'm sure I can find her online. She creeped me out.
Yeah. Well, what made you afraid of dolls? Like, did you know that's an actual phobia? It's pediophobia.
Hey, no. I'm not afraid of all dolls, just some. Her eyes open and close. Like if you laid her down, her eyes closed, and when you would sit her up, they would open. They did that blinky thing. Yeah, that little blinky thing.
I hated those dolls.
And her eyes looked like dead eyes.
Do you remember the Baby Alive dolls?
The ones that pee
and poop. Okay, so Brennea had a Baby Alive doll. True story. Brennea, my niece, had a Baby Alive doll. And it pooped. I don't remember it. I don't recall it peeing, but I know it pooped. And one time she had it on the seat in our van, and for some reason she didn't have a diaper on it, and it pooped on the seat in the van. Do you know that I don't know what they put in the baby poop on these dolls, but it made a stain on the seat, and we got it up, and it had eaten the fabric off the seat. The poop had destroyed the fabric. And up until, this was in the early 90s when she had this doll. And actually it was mid 90s. She was about 4 or 5. So it was the mid 90s. I got rid of that van in 2012 because I got it after he passed and everything. In 2012, my mom gave me that van and I got rid of it in late 2012. But before I got rid of it and I was cleaning that van out, that stain was the eaten part of the seat. I will never forget. Every time I looked at it, I was like, Baby Alive shit. Whatever was in this evil, and it was an ugly, scary, creepy looking doll anyway. But not only that, but it had acidic shit. Because that's the only thing that I think could have eaten the fabric of a seat in a van.
That's worse than Annabelle. Because at least Annabelle didn't shit on herself.
Annabelle was potty trained.
I'll take Annabelle over that any day. And it shocked me when you showed me what the real Annabelle looked like versus the movie.
Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll. You know that? Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll.
She was so disappointing.
She was. The movie made her look more sinister.
Yeah, her Hollywood version, she was all, doll diva for the evil
That was the
version.
Instagram filter for her.
Yes. Instagram Annabelle versus
she got Instagram filters.
Versus no filter.
Yeah, you put the real Annabelle next to the Hollywood Annabelle and it'd be like what she looked like on Instagram, what she really looks like in real life. That was that Annabelle doll.
Oh, Instagram and Snapchat filters did
she was
Annabelle
filtered
wrong.
They did her dirty.
But yeah.
Annabelle looked homely. she was a raggedy. She was raggedy in real life.
Oh,
but
goodness.
No. So dolls people are afraid of dolls, and I was watching something one day about, this documentary about phobias and stuff. And they had mentioned on there, and I've heard it multiple times, but people don't like dolls. Generally, people tend to be afraid of dolls because they're a humanoid looking creature. They're, but they don't move something that looks human, but it doesn't move and it's not, and something in us makes us afraid of that. We don't like that.
Okay, that
It's
would
a
make
natural
sense.
reaction that it makes us uncomfortable. That's something that it's supposed to look human. It looks human. It's made up like us, but it doesn't. It's not animated. It's not in it, and it's almost like it triggers the same. It's a similar fear that will be triggered as if we were looking at a dead body
Okay, that makes
because
sense.
it's not moving. It looks like a human, but it's not up and moving around like us.
Okay, yeah, I can see that connection.
Yeah.
And dolls with like no faces and no features, that's just
Ooh.
naturally kind of scary.
Ooh, this lady that this lady that I knew when I lived in Georgia. When I lived in Atlanta, she I worked with her and I had taken her home a couple of times from work. And I remember one time we worked third shift, so we get off at 7 o'clock in the morning. One morning she's like, I'll cook breakfast. So she actually had me and a couple of other of our coworkers come in
Mhm.
with her, come to her house because she offered to cook everybody breakfast one morning. So a
Mhm.
few of us went over there, and she had dolls, and like she had like a collection of dolls, and they were everywhere. They weren't just like in her room. She had a spare bedroom that had a bed, and there were dolls on that bed.
Oh.
There were dolls in her living room. She had like a shelf. There were dolls in the living room, and they were like, "Oh, she collected them."
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't like a hoarder. Remember that episode of Hoarders we watched with the lady with the teddy bears? It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was order, but she had dolls all in her house. They were so scary. And one of them, actually, yeah, the main one she had, she said it was her favorite doll. She's had it since she was a little girl. She had it sitting on a shelf right above her TV, and it was like around, it was like by itself. It had its own dedicated space. It didn't have a face.
What?
It had hair, had two pigtails. It wore a dress, like a little colonial type of dress,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't have a face.
Oh
It
my.
had a head, but it was blank. And there was a little black doll, so it was a little brown doll, but
Mhm.
it was blank. And she said that was the first doll she had when she was little. She said one of her family members bought it for her. It was her first ever doll, and she's had it since she was a little girl. She was in her 50s at the time, but yeah, it was creepy. it was it was already scary just being surrounded by dolls, and nobody really made a big deal about it. But I couldn't imagine, especially in that spare bedroom. I couldn't imagine sleeping in there. Like I went to the bathroom to wash my hands, and I walked past that spare bedroom and I saw the bed. It was a full size bed and it had dolls propped up on the bed, and yeah.
Oh.
So I guess it's hit and miss. Either you love them for some odd reason, or you're terrified of them. There is no in between. There's no in between. Either you're uncomfortable when you see a lot of dolls, or you love them.
You know what? I love the Cabbage Patch dolls, but don't blink at me.
Yeah.
Don't wink at me, don't blink at me, and don't talk to
I don't
me.
want your eyes to move. Hi,
No.
mommy.
No, and don't poop.
Yeah, Renee's pooping doll. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Yep.
must have a doll story for me.
Yeah, I do have a doll story, but I just wanted to get into that because dolls.
Mm,
Dolls.
here we go. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
This is
yeah.
gonna be interesting today.
Yeah, we have a doll story. And I was excited when I saw this story. I was like, yes, a doll. A scary doll. I was hoping we'd find a doll story, and we got one. It's awesome. So here's my doll story for you. This is from Astral Mermaid. Um, so here we go. When I was about 7, my aunt gave both me and my sister really nice dolls. They were like infant sized. My sister's doll had blonde curly hair tied up, blue eyes, and a white dress with different colored hearts. Well, she was scared of it. I think dolls just freaked her out in general. So my grandma kept it and for some reason hung it on her wall. I've always wondered why she did that. She really just hung the doll by the dress with the nail above her head. I just thought it had something to do with a Mexican superstition. It wasn't like she had a ton of dolls everywhere either. It was just this one doll. Well, we all had to sleep with it just hanging there because it was a 1-bedroom house. Then, within a couple of days, we all started having nightmares about the doll trying to kill or harm us. My sister and I slept on the floor, and she woke me up and said the doll was calling my name, not hers, mine. I told her to shut up because I thought she was trying to scare me. Then she started crying and said, "No, I'm serious, please." I drowned her out and fell back to sleep. I had a doll. I had a dream. Sorry, I had a dream that I was alone in my school cafeteria and a little girl was singing the ABCs, and I just knew she was under the vending machine. I walked to it, and then my ankle got sliced when I got to the vending machine. I fell and couldn't walk. Our cafeteria had a stage, and I looked up. She, the doll, was peeking her head through the curtain laughing at me. Then I woke up. Another day, I overheard my mom and aunt talking about their dreams they had of the doll, and they all included just them and me. Like I was the only one, including themselves, that was in the dream. My mom said she and I were running from the house, that we both jumped in the car, and she saw the shadow of the doll next to the car window. That I kept telling her to let the doll in, and she wouldn't, so I started biting her. Then my aunt said the doll and I were sitting on the couch, and I was acting and dressed weird. She said I was dressed like in old time little girl's clothes, and that when I talked, she never saw my mouth move, but the doll was talking in my voice. She had a bad vibe, and once we realized that she felt a bad vibe, we attacked her. As for my grandma, she refused to take the doll down. I kept having nightmares of the doll, and so did everyone else. Then finally, like anyone else would do, I took the doll and took its eyes out because I thought if she couldn't see us anymore, it would stop.
Well, made sense.
I put the doll back up, and my family was horrified. I did not want an ass whooping, so of course, I didn't come forward and say it was me. My family was sure the doll was cursed and blessed the house. The doll was gone the next trash day. For a week straight, my grandma prayed to us in Spanish and threw holy water the moment you walked through the door. Then one day, me and my sister were playing, and she's like, "You have to be happy now because grandma's doll wanted you sad."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That was a nice little doll story. That was like the real life Annabelle right there.
Uh,
You look scared.
I don't even know what to say after that. Like you just you should you should have went last.
Why is
um
that?
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. She definitely I guess the doll was possessed.
I'm right there
I
with you.
wonder where her aunt got the dolls.
I don't know.
She gave them both a doll though, but the one that the sister was afraid of was the one that was terrorizing everybody. So the sister must have known something. She must have felt the vibe from that thing. She didn't say anything about her doll being weird.
I'm telling you, the dolls are good stories. Have you ever heard of the island of dolls?
I don't want to.
There's an island full of dolls.
Where?
It is actually south of the center of Mexico City.
Oh, so who so somebody purchased dolls and just said, "You know what? You deserve your own island."
Not quite.
I love dolls so much that I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna buy them. That's extreme doll collecting right there.
So hold on, this story, the creep factor is on 10. So I was looking up, don't ask me why, the most terrifying places in the world, on YouTube one day, and the Island of Dolls came up. The Island of Dolls is originally owned by this gentleman, Don Julian Santana, I want to say. And it's full of dolls that are hanging from trees and buildings, and they're covered with cobwebs and insects. And so, from what I understand, these dolls are hanging up because they're supposed to protect this place from evil spirits. And these dolls are terrifying. They're like everywhere. If you get a chance to look up the Island of Dolls,
I'm gonna post a picture of it on Instagram.
yes, that would be a great picture. But look up a picture of the Island of Dolls, and it is terrifying. These dolls are nailed to trees. They are hanging up. They are everywhere.
Maybe that's what the grandmother did. She hung the dolls up to protect them, and it didn't.
Yeah, because as soon as you started talking about this, that is exactly what it came to mind.
Yo, so why did he do this?
To for protection. But there's more to a story. There are several other factors. Supposedly a young woman drowned.
Oh, these trees.
Yeah. So when you get a chance, if you can check that out, the Island of Dolls. But yeah, put that up there on our.
I am. I'm gonna post that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The Island of Dolls.
Yeah, it is pretty.
So he's just some weird dude. Did he purchase that? Is it his to do this? This seems like vandalism.
Yeah, it's I believe that's his place. You have to look into it just
I'm gonna have to look it up.
But yeah, the island is something for the eyes to see.
Yeah, and they're dirty dolls. They're not even pretty dolls. They're the dirty they're the dirty dolls that you would find in an old abandoned hospital or something, an old abandoned house, and they're bald, dirty dolls with no clothes on.
Yeah, and if you go through the pictures, like because I saw a video, a little video of it. I mean, some of it is doll parts, like just arms and legs hanging up and just the head. But yeah,
here's my thing though. How do dolls? I mean, I'm sure they don't manufacture bald dolls unless they're, the little ones that look like their hair is a part of the skull. You see what I'm talking about? The little plastic. They have the plastic grooves in there to mimic hair.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't think they manufacture bald dolls. But when you see stuff like this, like every doll in these photos that I just saw were bald. Did somebody pluck all their hair off? I know they don't wear wigs. Like who snatched the balls? I mean, who snatched the balls? Who snatched the doll's bald? Like who did that? What kind of person? If you want to use the dolls for protection, did he do it to intimidate spirits that might want to come through? So he got a whole bunch of dolls and he just shaved their heads. Why are they bald? Why can't we have dolls with hair? Why is that always the thing in a scary movie too? A bald, naked doll. Why can't, other than Annabelle, her hair was laid and slayed. And
I'm telling you, that's the filter.
And she had that nice dress. No matter what, Annabelle got thrown in dumpsters, and she still had a nice dress, and her hair was never out of place.
It wasn't.
But then in other scary movies, you get these bald, scary dolls with one eye. I'd be more afraid of Annabelle because she looks put together. She took time on herself. She took time out of her day to look right so she can scare the fuck out of you. But these other dolls are lazy. They're like, no, I got one eye. I'm bald. I'm not going to put any effort into my looks.
Remember the doll on Rugrats?
The Cynthia doll. Yeah, Angelica loved Cynthia.
How much hair did that one have?
She had 4 tufts of hair. And they were sticking straight up. Cynthia. Annabelle, what was the little girl's? Angelica. She went crazy over Cynthia. You couldn't tell her nothing about Cynthia. And then Cynthia had her own house. She had she was like the Barbie doll. And then I think there was an episode they wanted to get her a new Cynthia doll for her birthday. She wasn't having it. She wasn't with it. She's like, nah. I want my bald Cynthia. I want my Cynthia with the 4 tufts of hair.
Oh my goodness.
That sticks straight up that you can't comb. I never saw her comb Cynthia's hair.
That's why it looks like that. I could go on about this doll thing.
Yeah,
forever.
we gotta move on.
Please look up the Island of Dolls.
Yes.
If you want something to scare you.
I'm gonna post some facts about that too on Instagram. I'm gonna post some pictures, some pictures from the Island of Dolls so you can see this strange phenomenon. because someone decided to be weird and purchased an island and put ugly, scary, bald, naked dolls on it.
Okay, now that gentleman might be listening to you.
He might
Maybe
be.
mail something to you.
Maybe.
Mail
If he
you a
mails me a
souvenir.
doll, I don't know, use
Okay.
it for target practice. You ready?
All right. Okay, so I have a story from Poet M7. And it is about a house, that 70s house.
That 70s house. Is that what you named this story?
And the question for this house is, do home renovations anger spirits? And the previous episode we mentioned that, or we
Yeah.
tapped on that idea for a quick moment. All right. I didn't believe in ghosts until my family bought a house. My family and I moved to a different state and bought a house. I no longer live there, but I definitely remember a few odd things happening while living there. Our house was built in the 70s and was a fixer upper. A husband and wife lived there, and a few years prior to us moving in, the wife died of cancer. I didn't know this until after I had my first paranormal experience in the house because my parents thought my sister and I would be scared if we knew someone had died in the house. My friend and I found out online that the lady died in the home by Googling her name. That's not a way you want to find that out. My first experience is when I was in the basement doing my makeup. We were renovating the upstairs bathroom, so I had to use the one downstairs. When I was putting on mascara and was close to the mirror, I saw a black figure in the corner of my eye. It was like a person was standing right behind me, and it felt like there was a dark presence. I turned around and there was nothing behind me. I'm still not sure what it was to this day. The second experience I had was when I was sleeping in the basement because my family was visiting and my grandma was sleeping in my bed. It was past midnight, and I swear I could hear running back and forth in the hallway upstairs. I have two cats, but both of them were sleeping downstairs with me. I went upstairs to check on everyone, and everyone was dead asleep. I continued to hear the stomping for about an hour, and I remember it being really hard to fall asleep that night. The last experience I had was the craziest. My sister and I had friends over, and we were chattering about how we thought our house was haunted. My sister always complained to me about how she hears footsteps in her room, which was weird to me because I never heard any specifically in my room. We all decided to lay in my bed and see if we could hear anything. We were all in about the 8th grade or so of course we were doing dumb stuff like this. We were silent for minutes on end, and then we heard a huge sound like someone had thrown something off my nightstand. It was the craziest thing. None of us moved a muscle, and we heard that huge sound out of the blue. We looked on the floor, and nothing had been knocked onto the ground. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. My dad never believed us when we said we thought it was haunted. However, there was one time he was inside the house alone, and he said he heard the cupboards in the kitchen opening and closing while he was in the basement. He then came outside to ask us if any of us were doing dishes. We said no. He thought it was weird, but dismissed the whole thing. These were experiences that were weird, but I never felt unsafe. Maybe some spirits were mad. We were renovating the house. So, if we look at this and go back to the fact that the woman and man that lived there before, they probably lived there for quite a while, and she passed away in that home. That was probably their home that they loved to live in. And she probably wasn't happy that they were in there turning things around and tossing it up in there. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. If that was her house, because it was a fixer upper.
Okay.
And they bought it as a fixer upper, right? The current family.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly it hadn't been updated. It possibly needed updating. So obviously the former owners, clearly probably didn't do anything much to the house after they purchased it and lived in it for X amount of years. So yeah, that probably ruffled some feathers there when they
Okay.
started changing things. It was her home. She died there.
Mm-hmm.
It's her again. It's one of those things where this is my territory. This is my place. I'm
Okay.
attached to this place. You start changing things, I'm not gonna like it.
Right. Okay, I agree with you. Because I asked you the other day about this same similar concept. Um, and I thought about it after I asked you. She passed away there. They've probably been there for a really long time. It was probably a nice house when they brought it, when they purchased it. Didn't need updates at that time. They lived there for a while. She fell sick. They weren't able to afford updates at that time. She passed away. Maybe that house sat empty for a while. And yeah, it needed updates. And then because it sat empty, needed fixing up. Um, and then this family came along, purchased it. And yeah, she was not happy about those renovations. So that
Yeah,
stirred up a lot of activity. Um, so I see that happening.
yeah, possibly that could very well be the scenario. Like any couple that's had their house, like I could only imagine things that could have possibly led up to the house needing to be um remodeled and things like that. Like you said, they could have been living in that house, and as they got older, obviously they probably weren't going to be able to do anything themselves, and probably didn't. They've been there for so long. Why update it? Why do anything to it?
Right.
And then when they both pass away, changes ownership, and then the new people come in and want to fix things and update them.
Yes. And earlier today, we were having a discussion about past spirits who've lived there or who have spirits actually who are haunting a particular area and reasons why. Um, and we were discussing earlier a particular area that you have been in before. And I was asking you, well, are they there? Because why would they be haunting that particular area? Why would
Yeah,
those ghosts be there? And I kept asking you, are they there? And then you thought about it for a moment and you found out, yes, they're still there. Now, um,
you can say it. I mean, I don't work there anymore. What are they going to do to me?
the university, Duke University.
Yeah,
Okay, so and
there's a crypt under the chapel.
so yeah, and you have had a lot of activity while you were working there. You had a lot of interesting stories, a
Yeah,
lot, and you saw a lot of activity. And these people or these entities that you saw, I said that they've got to be there. They've got to be somewhere because they are so closely tied to this
yeah,
area. And if it's a university, so obviously I didn't think that they were living on the campus. So that's why I was saying they're tied to that somehow. Maybe there was a house there a long time ago, but why were they there? Why are
yeah.
they there? And you said there's a crypt there.
Yeah,
So
I
they're still
completely
there.
spaced it when I was first telling you about that, and then I texted my friend that worked with me because like I said, we would explore the campus. We would be all over the place, and um, yeah, I remembered going down into the crypt and seeing the little placements of the little plaques in the floor, like they were like you know cemented into the floor. And yeah, so yeah, there's a crypt down there, and I named off all the names. There's about eight to 10 people that are in that chapel under that is creepy.
Yeah, and I wonder if they started stirring up construction over there
I don't know.
with
The
things.
chapel, everything when I worked there, but that was 12, sorry. When I worked there, that was 12 years ago. Everything was the way what had been originally. The
Hmm.
chapel doesn't look up. I mean, it's a beautiful Gothic style building, and it hasn't, they're not updating that. That's the beauty part of it, is the way it looked when it was originally built. But yeah, I don't know. I think Washington Duke is there. He's the man who the college was named after.
Hmm.
So it was formerly Trinity College, and he donated and gave a lot of money, and Trinity College changed the name to Duke University. But um, yeah, he's there
Right.
along with two of his sons buried
Hmm.
under there. And then there's several presidents of the university that are under there, and a couple of their wives for some reason. I guess. I mean, I guess they wanted to be together. So
Right, right.
and then one of the Duke's son's wives is under there too.
See, so yeah, people or spirits tend to want to
If
stay in
they're
places they're attached to.
Yeah, if they're attached to something, even if they didn't die there, uh, if that's their final resting place, if you know, usually they're usually attached to something that they were attached to in life,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously this whole family, this university is named after them, and they've you know, so obviously that might be a reason, but also they're buried, they're literally
Mm-hmm.
buried there.
Right.
So
And I feel like the mom was probably attached to this home, and like you mentioned in the conversation the other day, that just kind of sort of made me think about that. And when you are reconstructing homes and changing things around that may make these spirits unhappy.
yeah, that's definitely it's the first thing you think of when, someone's saying, "Oh, we're remodeling our house," and then all this weird stuff is happening. It's like, "Oh, you just pissed off a ghost."
Especially when you're breaking into the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Um, I have another story here I would like to share if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Have at it.
This story was shared by Ash, and this is about a mommy. So mommy dearest likes to hum.
I love these names you give your stories.
We have long moved from this house, but the incidents haunt me to this day. This happened about 10 years ago. I am now 21. We have a small family: my mom, me, and my father. My father worked from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., so he was not home most of the day. My mother taught at a local preschool and was home by 1 p.m., and I'd come home from school in around the same time. One day I came home from school and called out for my mother, but I got no reply. I went into the bedroom and saw she was sleeping. I figured she must be tired, so I didn't bother her. I made myself a sandwich and went to her room to lie down with her. She started stroking my hair, but didn't really say anything, and I fell asleep. About 30 minutes had gone by, and I heard the doorbell ring. I got up and saw my mother was not in the bed. I went out and opened the door and saw my mom, still in her work clothes. I was confused, and she frantically apologized to me for getting home late, as one of her students had an incident at school, and she asked me if I had eaten anything. I was so confused, but replied that I made myself a sandwich. I didn't tell her what happened. A few days passed. It was Saturday, so both of my parents were home. We planned to go to the park, and I jumped into the shower to get ready. I was taking my shower when I heard my bathroom door open. I couldn't see who opened it as the shower curtain was blocking my view. I heard my mother's voice. She placed my towel on the stand, and I got only a glimpse of her hand. She said that we weren't going to the picnic anymore. I was sad. I came out of the shower crying and asked my mom why we weren't going to the park. And she asked me who told me that. I told her she did, and she said that she never came in the bathroom. After this, I'd hear movements around the house and hear a woman hum a particular tune in my mother's voice, but I knew it wasn't my mom. Luckily, we didn't stay in that house long after, though. I still hear that tune sometimes, but now I don't see anyone.
Her mom has a doppelganger.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Um, so with a doppelganger, typically, we use that term in a neutral sense, and it typically describes a person that resembles another person. Um, but I did find out that the doppelganger can sometimes be portrayed as a ghost or a paranormal phenomenon, and is usually bad or evil. So
Yeah.
yeah, we use that term loosely, and we don't we
Have you seen real life versions of doppelgangers though? Did you ever see the two guys who met on a plane and they were identical? Same face, same beard, same glasses. They were dressed in similar clothes. They were strangers.
no.
They were strangers. These guys, same glasses, literally the same glasses. They even had the same prescription.
Oh no, you
had never met. They met on a plane.
Where was this?
I'd have to look it up. And they met on a plane. That has happened in real life, where people have met someone that they've never met in their life, and they look like they could be twins.
Wow.
I told you I met someone that looked like me.
Yeah, you did.
And
You
people
did.
thought it was me. Yeah, it was back in the early, days of the chat rooms and stuff like that, and people clicking on your profile. They thought that we were catfishing.
Yeah.
They thought we were using each other's pictures.
Yeah.
And then we both showed up at the same time in the chat room, and we were both like, "No, this," and yeah.
That is, yeah, that's pretty wild. This poor person.
But this doesn't sound like an actual person. This sounds like a spirit.
Yeah.
It's someone that's not there. But yeah.
So yeah, I don't know exactly what type of entity this is, because you've mentioned shapeshifters in the past, skinwalkers in the past, and now we have doppelgangers. But whatever this person is, you better tell your mother to watch out for identity theft, because this person has taken on your mother's look, voice, and I mean, you better watch it.
Yeah.
Is your mother's husband next? They're gonna take the husband? I don't know. But on a serious note, just this doppelganger,
There you go.
yeah, that they really are twins, that he's met his doppelganger. I'm looking at a picture of the two men on the airplane, and they are identical.
Yeah.
They're
Same.
copies.
Yeah.
Somebody copied them.
Yeah.
I guess we just
The universe just said copy paste.
Yeah, universe said we ran out of
Yeah.
people ideas. Let's just start copying.
Yeah.
Just copy paste.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. What you were saying.
But yeah, this is they just I don't know, that threw me off.
Yeah.
These guys are copy pastes.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely possible doppelganger. And like I said, I just recently found out that it's not just a person that resembles another person. It can also be a ghost or a paranormal phenomenon.
Yeah.
So anything you want to add to that?
No. Yeah, that story was pretty scary. My mom swears she doesn't remember this. I don't know why she doesn't remember this, because when I got home, I thought she was gonna kill me because of what happened. But one time when I was a teenager, I think I just gotten my driver's license. And my brother, we both shared my mom's old car. We both drove her old car. And he usually had it more than I did. He had a job, so he had it more than I did. He drove it. And my stepdad was home, so his van was there, and my mom had been at work, and she got off work and came home, and it wasn't odd to her that only the van was there and not the other car, because again, my brother works. So he worked back then. So she came into the house and she yelled my name. My stepdad was outside cutting grass in the backyard. And she came in the house, and we're loud. You know how we are. We're loud. We yell back and forth. So she came into the house and yelled my name from the kitchen. And I responded from my bedroom. So I'm like, hey, talking back, I guess. And she said, we're yelling back and forth, talking about whatever, I don't know. And she's putting up her lunch bag and stuff in the kitchen. And she walks into my room, and I'm not in there. And she looks around, bathroom, all the rooms in there. I'm not in the house. So she comes up, she's like saying my name, and I'm not responding. She goes outside to the back. She yells to my stepdad, where I'm at. She asks where I'm at, and he's like, not here. He's like, I'm the only one that's been here. She's like, no, we were just talking in the house. He was like, I'm the only one at this house. Nobody's been home but me all day. And she's like, irritated by it, because she had a conversation with me.
Yeah.
So when I got home, she's, where were you earlier? And I'm like, I was gone. I wasn't home. I haven't been home. And she's like, I was just talking to you. I talked to you when I came home. And I was like, no, you didn't. I haven't been home. I haven't been home from school yet. And she was like, well, you were here because I was talking to you. And David had came into the house at the time. By that time, David was like, no, he was like, nobody was home but me. I was the only person in the house. There was nobody else here. I've been here all day. And so she was so mad. She was mad. Like she was, because she thought that we were fucking with her, I guess. I don't know. But she was like, I talked to you. I heard your voice. It wasn't me. I wasn't home.
And that's got to be frustrating.
She was so frustrated. She was like, it was you. I talked to you. I heard your voice. I was like, it wasn't me.
And it something like that will make you feel like you're losing it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. That she just was like,
I clearly heard you. I clearly heard you. So that's why I Ash here has got to be like just on the edge of their seat, because they saw not only her, but saw their mother in the bed, saw their mother in the bathroom, and hears
their mother's
humming.
voice.
Yeah. So that's just.
I wonder if it's something that their mother hummed all the time. Like if it was a tune that they recognized, that they knew that their mother had hummed, like a song, their mother's favorite song or something.
I don't know, but that's.
That's scary. I don't like that.
I don't know. Something, I don't know. And then I think of something maybe trying to gain Ash's trust, and that it's not good.
Yeah. You automatically think of, because, they say demonic entities and negative entities will try to gain your trust and take on the form of something that will make you comfortable.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I was reading this.
Yeah, and at such a young age, that would be, an 11-year-old, that's a perfect age to try to lure them in.
Yeah, it is. And Ash didn't want to share this with mom at the time. Yeah. So you're keeping this to yourself at the time, and it would know that you wouldn't open up to anyone for help or anything.
Yeah,
especially when you're 11, because your parents and adults might be like, you're
making this up.
Yeah. So
yeah. So yeah, that was scary, really scary. So
all right.
That was a good one.
Yeah, those were good stories.
They were. This was a fun episode. They're all fun to record, but this was really fun. I don't know if it's because I've been sipping on this this hard root beer or not your father's root beer, but I've been having some fun here. It's 5:00 somewhere. Don't judge me. Let's just say it's 5:00 here. We're recording this at 5 p.m.
You sure it's 5 p.m.?
Yes, because I said
5
so.
5 a.m.
I said it's 5 p.m.
Okay, it's 5 p.m. You said so.
I said it.
I don't want the side eye from you anymore. I don't like the side eye.
All right. So thank you for listening. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed the stories and whatnot. Please email us your stories at paranormaluniverse@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram. I'll be posting the pictures of the dolls. And was there something else I was going to post? I'll post those real life doppelgangers since we talked about those. But also, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Paranormal Youniverse Podcast. And also make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to our podcast so you can get updates on when we release new episodes. And also make sure you please give us a rating and review. That helps us out a lot. And yeah, you got anything for them, T?
Thank you so much for submitting those stories. Please keep sending them, and thank you all.
All right, thank you, and stay safe.